How's it going, guys? Vaibhav here and welcome back to another video. Now today I want to talk about the Honor Play4 and Play4 Pro, and I don't want to talk about them because they're just new smartphones. They actually bring something unique to the table that we're going to find relevant for the next couple of months at least, and it's an IR blaster. Now, not any sort of IR blaster. If you followed Huawei flagships in the past, you'll know that the Huawei P40 Pro, the Huawei Mate 30 Pro, even the Huawei Mate 20 Pro from last year or even 2 years ago, it had an IR blaster, and I think Huawei wants to stick with that because they believe in the hardware so much. But the IR blaster in general is used for things like controlling appliances, so your TV, your AC, your projector, for example, and you can do so straight from your phone, which comes in really handy at certain times. Now, you're not going to be using it on a regular basis, but when you use it, you do feel proud. Now, I used to use this feature with the Galaxy S4, and I used to go to a mall when it was actually, safer to go to a mall and basically go to a tech store with a lot of TVs and turn them off simultaneously, and that felt really good. Now, people around me didn't know what was happening, but I knew what was happening, and that just felt amazing. But let's actually get back to the phone. We know a lot about its specifications, even though it's coming out in 2 days. So it's got a 6.57-inch IPS LCD display, 1080p, it's not going to be 90 Hz, it's going to be 60 Hz. The front has 2 cameras, 32 and 8 megapixels, and the back also has 2 cameras, 40 and 8 megapixels. Now let's actually take a look at this photo, and usually the leaks we see from Digital Chat Station are very reliable, so I'm pretty sure what we're going to be hearing on the 3rd of June, which is just in 2 days, is going to be exactly what we're hearing. Now this is the phone basically with all of the renders and stuff, so it looks pretty clean. The dual camera setup on the front does look like the Huawei P40 Pro, and the back with the 2 cameras actually looks really nice. I'm not a fan of those 4 and 5 camera setups at the back. It just makes for an ugly phone, so looking at this is kind of unique, believe it or not. Now, in terms of its battery, it's again a 4200 milliamp hour cell with a 40-watt fast charging speed, so again very similar to the Huawei P40 Pro Plus, and it's also got a Kirin 995G processor, so pretty much everything is borrowed from the Huawei P40 series in general, aside from the thickness and maybe the weight. The thickness is 8.9 millimeters thick, which is a bit on the thicker side. I usually prefer phones with an 8.5 millimeter thickness or lower, and 213 grams does make the phone feel a bit heavier. I think below 200 is the sweet spot when it comes to smartphones, but I'm not going to judge until I get the phone, whenever that is. It's also got a side-mounted fingerprint scanner, so that's good for biometrics, and a Type-C USB port for charging or listening to music. No headphone jack, but I think at this stage we've learned to live without it. Now, in terms of what we're looking at when it comes to the IR temperature sensor, this is one of the teasers that we've seen. Again, the date of the phone launch is on screen, and we've also got this video that has been shared recently which goes over how this entire sort of product feature works, and we're going to be skipping forward and seeing how this guy actually demos. So he's basically explaining the demo or the actual feature to one of the people outside, and he's going to take a measurement using the phone. So he's going to do it in 3, 2, 1. There we go. Now, one thing to note here is that even though it tells you the temperature at 36.3 degrees, which is really helpful, really relevant in the society we live in today, I think everyone's a bit more careful when it comes to going out, etc. So I can totally see how this makes sense. It did cut on the fact on how long it actually took to record the temperature. So I'm guessing it takes around 10 to 15 seconds to record the temperature, which they skipped in this video to make it seem like it's instant. I don't think it's going to be instant, but nonetheless, I think it's a very useful feature to have. The rest of the video basically goes over the guy going over multiple people and checking multiple temperatures, and I think this overall feature works great. Now, in the latter part of the video, he actually checks the temperature of an ice cream as well, just to prove the concept, and I don't know how accurate or how reliable the measurements from this thing are going to be, but I think it'll still give you an overall idea of a surface temperature. And I don't think it's just useful for things like, the things you do outside. This can be useful for measuring the temperature of your smartphone or measuring the temperature of your laptop, for example. Basically anything you want to measure the temperature of, this thing can do that. So it's a very versatile feature to have, and I don't know why many smartphone manufacturers sort of skipped on it. I think this gives people the perfect chance to do so. Again, here's another temperature reading he's got. This is a bit on the higher end, it's 38.1 degrees, but basically the entire video is showcasing how the feature works. Now you can go ahead and check out this entire video. I'll leave a link down to it in the description, but that's the overall selling point of the phone. Now in terms of availability, it's actually already listed on pre-order over on JD, which I think is a Chinese store for all of these products. Nothing about the specifications is sort of listed here. If we move to the specification tab, everything is pretty much not listed, or there's nothing on it, but it does show you more pictures of the phone. So this is basically what the back will look like. This is the side, the top, and there you can see the IR blaster as well. So it's a pretty interesting concept to have, and lots of leaks of the phone are already out there. The pre-sale price is to be released, but if you want to get into the pre-order, which apparently lasts for 7 days, you can do so by depositing 100 yen, and then you get instructions on how to buy the phone, etc, etc. Now, this just isn't an Honor thing. Actually, other smartphone manufacturers are also planning to do something like this, and I think it makes sense. People want to capitalize on this whole situation, and having a thermometer basically built into the smartphone is very useful. We've had things like a heart rate sensor, we've had things like calorie counters, we've even had what is it called, the electrocardiogram sensor on the Apple Watch series of late. So all of that is really gearing us towards a health-driven technology investment sort of approach. And other companies like Samsung and even Apple are looking into a body temperature sensor. So this is from another credible leakster. He's called Mori QHD. I actually featured him on the channel a couple of weeks ago, and I basically replied to him saying Honor's on it too, and he said, yeah, it is somewhat related. So I think everyone is now gearing towards this next development in smartphone technology, and I think it makes complete sense given the situation we're in, and we don't know how this thing is going to span out, how long it's going to last, but I'm hoping it'll end very soon so I can go back to the malls, use the IR blaster, and turn off multiple TVs at the same time and feel the same level of satisfaction. But that's about it for this video. Those were my thoughts on the Honor Play4 Pro in general. I think it's a unique product for what it features. Don't really think it's a unique product in terms of specifications, but if priced right, it could be one of the better selling phones from Honor. I don't know if it's coming here, but if it does, I'll be sure to get my hands on it. But until then, this was Vaibhav. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Adios.